Welcome along to Track Rotation Guides. Yes, Series 10, Series 11 and Series 12 have all changed driver stats and track stats, which means you need to focus on a brand new setup, brand new driver pairings for all three of those series. Now, in this track rotation guide, we take the guessing out of it for you and we give you the facts and advice as to why I recommend going with certain setups or certain drivers when it comes to the new Series 10, 11 and 12 even. Now, in this video, we're going to give you everything. We're going to give you our full strategy maps, which includes boosts, DRS points, tyre strategies. We're also going to give you, of course, the setup and the drivers that we recommend you to be using as well. So let's go and take a look, first of all, of our track rotations. And today we're going to be starting with Series 10. Now, there is a current GP event on the Duelist GP where there's some legends, Fernando Alonso, Yuki Tsunoda, all 20% boosted. So you might want to go ahead and use one of those drivers because ultimately their 20% is still quite big. Now, let's take a look at Series 10. So for you Series 10 players, you have now got overtaking. You have got overtaking and cornering from Canada. You've got overtaking and speed from the circuit of Baku. You have also then got overtaking and speed again from Las Vegas. Finally, overtaking and power unit from Abu Dhabi. So the main focus for Series 10 is all about overtaking drivers. That is your absolute go-to. But of course, you need to be a little bit aware that you've got different car setups that really could be required. You have got 2 speed circuits, you have got 1 cornering circuit, and you have got 1 power unit circuit. So your car is going to be a little bit more difficult to set up, your drivers a little bit easier. So let's get into what is your recommendation. So this is the kind of setup I would be running. Forget my levels. These are sort of looking at the parts and the stats that I'm going for. So as you can see, we have 2 speed circuits. I've gone with a heavily more speed setup. I have gone for the 1 cornering parts, and I've gone for sort of 169 for my stats, for example. There's a couple of cornering parts in there, sorry. But really, the main focus of this is prioritising the 2 speed circuits, still having a little bit of cornering. Don't worry about power unit. Power unit is a very weird sort of track stat. It doesn't really seem to get affected too much if you don't run a lot of it. But I would be running that setup. For your levels, go for majority speed, but try and add a little bit of cornering into it. Now, if you're in Series 10, you could add a part like Aeroblade, a lot more power unit, bit more qualifying, and you're going to lose those speed and cornering. That's why I haven't selected that one. And you can mess around with the engine if you wanted to. You can get more qualifying by simply adding Mach 3 or Mach 2. They both had decent qualifying, but that is what at the minute I would recommend. If you feel like you're starting too far back, go and add something like a Mach 2. You will lose speed, but ultimately you might not be too bad. So play around with the qualifying. The drivers, well, it's no surprise, Yuki Tsunoda with a 20% boost. Make sure to check that one out. It's going to be phenomenal in Series 10 on week 1, but he is overall one of the better drivers in Series 10 for overtaking anyway, regardless. So Yuki Tsunoda, just watch out on his tyre management and his race start. Now, Lance Stroll probably be my other driver to go to with overtaking and tyre management, who's not too bad on that. The main focus, pick the highest overtaking stat driver that you have in Series 10. That is absolutely key to success. So I'd be recommending them 2 drivers and, of course, them setups that I showed you. Now, into the strategy area we go, and we're going to focus on giving you some strategy advice for these circuits. Starting off with Canada. So really, you're going to be looking at the contender or champion strategies in Series 10. It's all about the one stop. 4 medium, you're probably going to be your best bet. Or even a 3 soft, 2 soft is going to be actually pretty good down in Series 10. Now, in the wet conditions, you can also do a 4 wet. Absolutely no problem in Series 10. You've got the top right, which is above me. They are all the boosts that feature both of the track stats, overtaking and cornering. You've got Cuppa, Glitz, Herald, Cranberry and Ode. And in the middle, you've got your track map. In blue for conserving, yellow for medium engine mode, red for attacking. But DRS is going to be a lot more beneficial down that back straight. It is absolutely huge for top speed, and you're going to make some passes as well. That is why DRS is important to take in Series 10. Baku though, 7 laps, remember, on this one. 3 soft, 4 hard. 4 hard, 3 soft is most likely going to be your strategy in Series 10. Even up to a 4 medium, 3 soft if you can do it with the tyre management. You've got your boosts above. There's a lot of them. You've got Skull, Eclipse, Firework, Eternal Flame are the best 2. You've got Hex as a really good option for a free boost as well. Now in the middle of the track map, main straight is the best place to be using that DRS. It's absolutely incredible. You can use it from turn 2 as well though, all the way down to turn 3. Make sure to conserve down the straights when you're not using DRS. Just a quick flick for the wet conditions. It is a 3 wet, 4 wet and a 4 wet, 3 wet from the streets of Baku. Now our next circuit to go through is a bit of a painful one because it's not the most interesting and exciting. Las Vegas is our race number 3 of this series. It is 6 laps. You're going to be running pretty much a free medium, no problem at all. And that is also going to see you run a free wet in wet conditions as well. Now, really, for Vegas, you've got to have that speed set up, of course. That's why you want to have the more speed. Above the top of my head, again, we've just been through it with Baku. They are your best boosts. Hex is really good for a free point of view. And there's 3 places to use DRS at Vegas. Again, when you're not using DRS, conserve down the straights. Get some of that power unit back so you can use it when you use DRS. And finally, for our Series 10 roundup, we are heading off to the only power unit circuit this time round. It is Abu Dhabi. Now, this is 8 laps. You're pretty much going to be doing a 3 soft, 2 soft. You might be able to grab a 4 hard out of there if you're lucky. But that is what I'd be recommending. If you can get a 4 hard, go for it. If not, it's all about the 2 stop. Taurus, Glitz, Dragon, Unstoppable, Rooster and Skull feature both overtaking and power unit from a boost perspective. And in the middle of your track map, down the back straight is the best place to use DRS. Also, 3 other places to conserve in blue on your power unit when not using DRS. So that is your strategy guide. I mean, you're not really going to get wet conditions, but there it is anyway. A 3-3-2 is going to be your best one. I don't imagine you're going to get wet conditions around that circuit. So that is your Series 10. It is overtaking drivers, 2 speed circuits, 1 corner, 1 power unit, and that is what we recommend. Stroll and Yuki, and the setup which features more speed and a bit of cornering as well. That is our recommendation. So welcome to players who may have skipped through joining us for our Series 11 strategy guide. Welcome to it. And today your strategy for the next 2 weeks is going to be a lot more easier when it comes to car setup. Your series is all about the power unit, so your car setup is going to be relatively easy to set up. The only complication is your drivers. However, take a look at this. China, you have got power unit, but overtaking driver is the best. You have got Imola, race start drivers are the best. Singapore, race start drivers are the best. And Mexico, race start. So 3 of the circuits are based on race start, 1 overtaking. 4 power unit circuits, so you've got to be going for the power unit, but ultimately, you've just got to go for race start drivers because you're going to be 75% of the time probably racing on a race start circuit. So you've got to be going for that one. Now, I'm going to get your setup on. No surprises to see power unit featured heavily on our car. They are the parts that you can go for. Now, you will see that gyro is in there from a cornering perspective. You can use Equinox for another 6 power unit on my levels, for example. But I don't want to lose the 8 qualifying, so I'm going to stick it out with adding a little bit of cornering and going for the power unit. Again, you can mess around and add a little bit of qualifying if you wish, look. You can go an extra 16. It is ultimately what you want to do, have a play around, but I'm a big fan of going full track stats. You're going to be a lot quicker in the race as well. Now, the drivers is an interesting one. These are the 2 drivers that I would recommend you push for. Pierre Gasly and Charles Leclerc. Now, Charles Leclerc has good qualifying. He's not got too bad overtaking, whereas Gasly's got okay overtaking and good tyre management as well. So you get the best of both, really, with both of these drivers. Now, in Series 11, you can use other drivers. Piastri for race start, if you get him up higher, is not a bad shout. Also comes with a bit of overtaking, but he's not strong from a tyres point of view. I like tyre management, so I can do some better strategies, more one-stops. That's really on the current levels I have and my recommendation to you, who I'd be running. But remember, 20% boosts currently in play for this worst week. I'd probably take Yuki Tsunoda all day long over Gasly on this case. So with the 20% boost. So do have a look at that one. But if I had to pick two, Leclerc and Gasly, and the car I'd be picking is a full power unit apart from the engine. I'd be taking reactor, and gyro instead of Equinox. So go for it. That is what I would recommend. Power unit and drivers. And then we get into your strategy. So Series 11, obviously race start power unit, heavily featured. But let's start off with the first track, which isn't power overtaking related. It is power unit and overtaking. China in the dry. You're going to be doing, I would expect at these levels, a free soft, 4 medium, free soft. If you are in Series 11, that shouldn't be too much of an issue. In the wet conditions, you will see that merge to a 4 wet, 3 wet, no problem at all. So one stop is absolutely key. Overtaking and power unit, Taurus, Glitz, Dragon, Unstoppable, Rooster and Skull. And in the middle, that back straight is absolutely incredible for your DRS. So make sure to use it down the back straight. You can also use it down the home straight. But everywhere else, attack through the corners and conserve when not running it down the straights. Now, Imola. Race start again, power unit. You can try and get the free is probably the quickest way around this circuit. That would be absolutely fine. You can do a 4 medium, 5 hard if you can't get the 90 tyre management. That would also be okay. Now in the wet conditions, it's going to be the 3 and the 4-3-2 to make sure you split the strategies up as well. Your boosts, Surf, Instinct, Rooster, Gladiator and Frost feature both race start and power unit. And in the middle, your track map down that home straight is the best place to use DRS. Absolutely incredible. Make sure to attack through the corners for Imola as well. We have then got a very difficult track this year. We head off to Singapore. As you can see here, we have got pretty much a 2 soft, 2 soft, 2 soft, and a 3 hard is most likely going to be your go-to strategy. Above the top of my head, Surf, Instinct, Rooster, Gladiator, and Frost again. In wet conditions, you're pretty much going to be doing a 2-2-2. Unless you've got 85 tyre management, you can roughly get around a 3 wet at this circuit. Now, featuring back to the track map, the home straight and the second straight are the best places to use DRS. It's not a strong circuit for DRS usage, so don't be surprised to make not many overtakes. It's a bit more of a difficult track this year, but make sure to conserve and attack through them corners. Absolutely key. And then finally, we head off to Mexico, your next race start and power unit of Series 11. So, we have got then a pretty much a one-stop circuit. You've got the 5 hard, 4 medium in there for pretty much Series 11, unless you can get 90 tyre management. If you can't, you could even look at doing a free soft. That would be no problem at all. In wet conditions, it's going to be the 3 and the 4-3-2 altogether. Now the boost, we've just been through a lot of it because it's repeated in Series 11, race start and power unit. Down the home straight is your best place to use the DRS. Even through turns 3 to 4, you can use DRS as well. Conserve again through the straights. It is a tough track at times, but that straight is absolutely key to your DRS usage. Now that is your Series 11 guide. You have got China, Imola, Singapore, Mexico, all power unit, all race start apart from China, which is overtaking. You've got Leclerc and Gasly as my recommendations, and power unit. Just simply add as much power unit, don't lose too much qualifying, and go for your best race start drivers in Series 11. And now it's time for players joining us in Series 12. If you are in Series 12, this is what you face this time around. It is a full cornering series. So pretty much what you might have been running in the last track rotation, it is all about cornering now. You have got Spain, cornering and tyre management. Canada, overtaking and cornering. You have got Zandvoort, defending and cornering. And Brazil, overtaking and cornering. So 4 circuits, all featuring cornering 2 circuits featuring overtaking, 1 featuring tyre management, and 1 featuring defending. So my recommendation straight away, full cornering and a overtaking driver, because 50% of your circuits are going to be overtaking. Now if we go and have a look at your recommendation, it is a full cornering setup. So try and go for all the cornering parts that you can get your hand on in Series 12. Now you can see Valkyrie is in there for my levels. I could use Aeroblade to get more DRS. That is totally up to you if you want to do that, if you like Aeroblade better. Remember, it has a little bit potentially less cornering, and of course DRS, lot stronger, but the pit time is a lot slower on Aeroblade. So you could go ahead and use that. Otherwise, I have gone for as much cornering as possible on this setup, and that is the current stat. So focus on them parts. If you want to add more qualifying, again, something like a Mach 2 could be useful to try and add some more, but you're going to lose a lot of cornering if you do. Now the drivers, I have gone, and again I've got decent levels, but up to you. I've got for overtaking and a bit of tyre management in there, some good qualifying, Hamilton and Russell. You kind of want a balance across the board. They're not amazing on defence, that's the only letdown, but Russell has got good overtaking, really good qualifying, and he's got okay tyre management. Hamilton, really good overtaking, good qualifying, good tyre management. So I'm covering off as much of the circuit as I possibly can. With these 2 drivers, you will struggle a little bit more on a defending point of view, but it's going to be very hard to try and cover all 4 circuits. You could, for example, look, if you compare Norris, not really in the same league. He is 2 levels lower, but he still wouldn't be that usable against these drivers. Same for Max. They're really good on defending, but struggle in the other areas. At the moment, Fernando Alonso with the stat boost would 100% be coming into the setup and drivers, because obviously in this week 1 he's going to be incredible, but in week 2 he will disappear out of setups. And that is your Series 12 drivers confirmed. There's no point really going for any Series 11 unless you've just gone into Series number 12. The recommendation is simply go for more overtaking, because that is 2 of your circuits, and then try and bring some of a tyre management like I have with my drivers. So that is your drivers that I would recommend. That is your setup that I would recommend as well. Now let's get into your strategy guide for these 4 circuits as well. So we'll start off with Spain in the dry then, shall we? And you should be able to be running around a 5 medium, 5 medium. You might need a slight tyre boost for that. If not, the 4 medium, 3 soft would do you okay. You could also run a 5 hard if you don't want to use some tyre management boosts. But remember, tyre management boosts in Spain are obviously the better boosts. You've obviously got the 5 wet in there as well that you could potentially use. Now, the boosts, Movember, Saar, Nazar, downforce and self-control. If you're racing this circuit, tyre management boosts are going to get you extra tyre management on your sort of strategies. So that is why the one stop is so much more like a cheat code around here, if you can do it. Now, in the middle, your track map. Down the home straight is your best DRS usage point. If you are not using DRS, conserve down that home straight and attack through the corners of Spain. Now let's move on to Canada, our first overtaking circuit in this series. And we have got a 8 lap, pretty much a 4 medium, 4 medium. If you've got over 90 tyre management, you could run a 4 soft, 4 soft. The boosts, Cuppa, Glitz, Herald, Cranberry and Ode feature for both dry and wet conditions. In the wet conditions, most likely you are going to be running a 4 wet, probably 9 times out of 10, unless you want to stretch to a 5-3. That could also be possible, as well as a 3-5. Your home straight, you've got the attacking down the back straight with DRS through the last corner into turn 1 as well. Really, really powerful. If you're not using DRS, conserve down them straights and attack everywhere else pretty much. Our next circuit, let's actually go to Brazil because it's overtaking as well. You have got here 9 laps, and you hopefully will be able to do a 5 medium, 4 soft. If not, 5 hard, 4 medium is going to be the go-to strategy. 1 stop, taking away that slower pit time as well. Same boost supply as per in Canada, and you've also got the track map where you want to be DRS down the home straight or through turns 3 down to turn 4, down that sort of, down that first sort of straight you come to after the start-finish line. In wet conditions, you can try and do the 5 wet, 4 wet as well. Just lower tyre management, for that, but you need a little bit of conserving in there as well. So Brazil conquered. We now move on to our final track, which is Zandvoort, which is our defending circuit of Series 12. 8 laps to come, 4 medium is your go-to. If you can get a 4 soft, then absolutely go for it. Quick tip, palm boost, really good around this circuit as well. It doesn't feature both cornering though and defending. The boosts, there's a lot more available. Hook, Movember, Prince. You've also got Jin, Tsar, Cranberry, Reindeer and Downforce. Your track map in the middle, one place really to use DRS. It is down that home straight and you want to be attacking through the corners, conserving down any straight where possible. And just a note, wet conditions, 4 wet, 4 wet. You can also do the 5 wet, 3 wet and the 3 wet, 5 wet undercut if you wish. Now that is your Series 12 guide covered. You have got cornering in Series 12 with 2 overtaking tracks, 1 defending and 1 tyre management. So that is your full guide for Series 12. We've also covered Series 11 being power unit and Series 10 being overtaking. I wish you the best of luck. Make sure to hit the like button. Hopefully our strategy and setup guide has helped you out massively.